Hey Danny, my name is Billy Harms. Um, I'm just trying to conduct an interview to see what the people are interested in regarding our COVID-19 testing. And you seem like a great candidate since you do work internationally. So why don't you just start off by telling me a little bit about yourself and the uh, nonprofit that you run?
All right. Thanks, Billy. My name is Danny. I'm the executive director of 33 Buckets. We're a small startup nonprofit based out of Tempe, Arizona. Our mission is to empower communities through clean water projects. We primarily work in the Cusco region of Peru and small rural communities, traveling there and working with community members to improve their access to clean water. Obviously, with the pandemic and travel restrictions, among other things, our work has changed pretty significantly. But that's the general idea.
Right on. So you said you're the executive director. Does that mean that you're basically running the show?
Yeah, so as a startup, I'm the only staff member. We have some unpaid student interns as well as some professional consultants volunteering their time and a board of directors. But I'm more or less responsible for delegating tasks in each of the areas that our organization works in, like fundraising, programs, and administration, and then kind of filling the gaps wherever we don't have the manpower and getting those things done myself.
So the board of directors, what kind of professionals is on that board?
So we try to keep it as diverse as possible. We have someone with legal experience. We have a CPA for accounting type decisions. We have someone who has extensive experience in nonprofit fundraising. Um, the founders of 33 Buckets are all on the board of directors as kind of advisors, and they have the best. They've been through it and kind of seen the growth of the organization, and that's pretty useful for decision making. Um, and then we also have some directors on our board with technical expertise to help us with the project side of things.
Awesome. Um, so since the 19 outbreak, obviously you probably haven't been able to go to Peru. What kind of has changed since this? Uh, is your effort still directed towards clean water, or have you kind of shifted your agenda a little bit?
So when we kind of realized that we weren't going to be able to travel this summer, we hopped on a few Zoom calls with our local partner down there in Cusco, a few individuals that work for a private university, which unfortunately has been shut down due to economic reasons. But they've decided to start their own NGO in Cusco, and we've been working with them to carry out our projects. Because of the travel bans and the severity of the outbreaks in Peru and here in the US. So, our projects have been much more focused on COVID-19 prevention specifically, which still incorporates clean water. We build public hand washing stations with infographics on effective hand washing, provide sanitation kits to each family, and host educational seminars all through our local partner down there in Cusco. So that's kind of where our resources have been flowing at this point. But as an organization, our mission is still clean water. So we're working on trying to reintegrate that back into what we do. But there's obviously complications with not being able to travel and trying to provide our community partner with the tools they need to carry out water projects in addition to the sanitation side of things.
How do things look in terms of availability of COVID testing in Peru?
So it's definitely super limited, especially for the communities that we work with. A lot of communities really are more or less unaware of the virus in general. Um, just the fact that we're going there and kind of telling them that this is going on in the world is a big step for them. Most of these communities don't have internet and very limited cell phone service and technology in general. So even the idea of like getting a substantial amount of COVID tests to these communities is pretty far fetched. And I think that's a scary thought too. If you look at the numbers, Peru has the worst deaths per 100,000 people related to COVID, and their testing rates have been extremely limited. So it's very difficult, to put it in short.
Okay, so basically, would you be able to implement, or not implement, would you be able to help out the communities by shipping down a bunch of COVID tests that are cheap or cost effective, obviously, but they get results within an hour, and you can order them in bulk. And basically what me and my company do is that we provide them to you and we can ship them wherever you need them to be shipped. But we just don't know if there's any regulations or anything like that. In the United States, you do have to be a business to use this COVID-19 test. So we just kind of want to figure out if there's any regulations in terms of actually administering tests in Peru.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of, the necessity or the value in having these tests, for our organization, it's extremely valuable. More or less, being able to monitor the effectiveness of our projects, that's one huge value add for us is, we can provide these tests. We don't have to have community members come into the city center to take a test in a lab. If they can get results back, we can set up mobile field testing stations and perform that all in a single day and get great data for the effectiveness of our projects. In terms of regulations and shipping tests down there, I would have to look further into it, but we have worked very closely with multiple municipalities. Like I mentioned, we have our partner down there, which is a registered Peruvian NGO. So I'm sure, we could get the certifications that we need to, but wouldn't happen to know those off the top of my head.
Awesome. All right, Danny, thank you so much for your time. I will be letting you know how our company evolves, and I will be getting back to you shortly.
All right, much appreciated.